Humans have been evolving since their origins as primates, continually transforming into the modern beings we are today. But what happens when evolution pushes us beyond anything we've ever known? When the next step isn't just intelligence, but something more? That's the reality of alphas, a small portion of the human race that has already undergone the evolution, developing extraordinary abilities. But instead of being recognized as the next step in human advancement, an impasse arises, dividing not only the alphas themselves, but the broader human population. Some believe in coexistence, while others see themselves as superior, the rightful inheritor of the world. And then there are the alphas caught in the middle, those who never asked to be different, but now have no choice but to navigate this new reality. A group of them, each struggling to find their place in a world that refuses to accept them, works with a renowned psychologist who sympathizes with their struggle. As they fight to control their abilities and find some sort of semblance of normalcy, they're pulled into a war, one between the government and a radical sector of their own kind. And as they navigate this conflict, they bear the weight of the tragedies that comes with being an alpha. But as much as I enjoyed this series, it never had the time to truly shine. And that's something every TV fans have experienced at some point. In life, we don't always get what we want. And for those of us who love television as much as I do, that means certain shows get cancelled, and sometimes way too soon. Welcome to the final week of Shows That Should Have Been, a mini-series where I have spent this month revisiting shows that had the potential to be something more, if only they had been given another chance. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and check out my previous videos of Shows That Should Have Been. And now, without further ado, let's explore alphas. Now, to understand why the show has so much potential, we have to start with its core question. What does it truly mean to be an alpha? There is a simple theme of questions that I have often asked myself while making some of these videos. What does it mean to have powers? Being an alpha is not as simple as being a powered individual like in other fictional narratives. If there's any series that comes close, it's Heroes. But where Heroes embraces the wonders of powers, alphas took them to a darker, more tragic place. Having powers can feel like an interesting proposition, but in the end, all the characters we meet in the series are those who have lost control. They are finally finding someone who might be able to help them use their powers for good. However, there's an element of darkness that clouds everything, the looming battle between alphas, whose sole desire is to become the dominant being on the planet. As the series explains it, alphas are the next step in human evolution, and there is a faction that believes they should accelerate that process. On the other hand, the government plays a role in determining which alphas can remain in society, knowing that many will misuse their ability. When they do, a task force takes them away, locking them up and fueling a never-ending conflict between both sides. Every alpha we see in the series struggles to keep up in a society they know they can't fit into. The change in their brains have made it impossible for them to connect with people, and even when they try, they're just wearing a mask, hoping they can eventually find normalcy. And that's what makes the show's opening song so fitting. People don't understand people like me, because in the world of alphas, understanding is the one thing they may never truly have. This tragedy is the reason why so many alphas act out, causing chaos and becoming radicalized in the process. And those who don't? They are the so-called protagonists of the series, those who still believes there's a way for alphas in society to coexist. That belief is what keeps them going. And yet, when you really think about it, isn't that the most tragic part of it all? Now you might be asking, why renew this series for more seasons? And that's a fair question. After all, with a narrative this tragic, maybe Alphas was meant to be cancelled. And maybe so, but the fact is, Alphas was building towards something. This war between Red Flags, the Alpha Movement group, and Dr. Rosen and his team. The ultimate fallout was still to come, and the way the series ended could have set up so much richer and a more complex narrative moving forward. Dr. Rosen's patients had made significant improvements, even though I knew deep down that they would never fully fit into a society where alphas remained an outcast. Yet they had managed to find some semblance amidst the chaos, preparing to take the next step in whatever Dr. Rosen deemed necessary. However, after all the tragedies the team had endured, especially Daniel's sacrifice to protect them, it becomes clear that a new world order was taking shape. The war ignited by Red Flag was now escalating into an unavoidable conflict. The series' unfortunate ending left us with a massive cliffhanger. Although we were finally given answers about what Stanton Parrish and his follower had been attempting all season, major questions remained. The show ended in a world where the device created by Red Flag led to everyone but Gary being left in a coma. It was as if the world had stopped. The aftermath of this event and the compelling stories of how Gary would navigate this crisis would have been something I would have loved to see unfold. Just like every member of Rosen's team, Gary had evolved so much since his introduction. He had finally found a degree of independence, a sense of purpose, after all the disruptions he had faced from the beginning. But with the world frozen around him, the real question became, could Gary bring everyone back? And if so, how? This bullet the Red Flag unleashed wasn't just a weapon, it was a catalyst for a much larger conversation that the series never got to explore. This unfinished war between the two factions raises an incredibly difficult question. At what point should there be a discussion about peace? Or is the only path to peace after one side loses entirely? And ultimately, what would coexistence between alphas and humans truly look like? But because the series was cancelled too soon, these questions remain unanswered, and the tragedy of alphas was never fully realized. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon in the next review episode.